Okay, I don't want you to be nervous, okay, Joe? This is
Okay.
this is radio and television together. You're looking good. You're looking great.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah,
I mean,
still alive.
are you taking care of yourself?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it's like lots of work, doing lots of stuff. That work out a lot and stuff like that.
Okay.
Not as much as I should.
But Joe,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question, because I know the road that you've taken to get to where you are today. I mean, especially the early years. How did you survive those years? Because it's a hard road you took.
Well, I mean, we just kind of we were young, stupid, and adventurous.
Yes.
And that all kind of worked out. We just decided to go places, and we weren't getting paid nothing. We didn't have anywhere to stay, and we didn't have any. Sometimes we had periods where we didn't have money for food, and we just somehow we scraped by. We'd find people to stay with. So it's like that. Yeah, it was a combo of wanting to do it and good luck.
And luck, you figure?
Good luck.
Yep.
Everybody needs good luck in this world.
And did you lose friends along the way?
I've lost a lot of friends. So when I look at the old promo photos, once in a while, I see there's no Wimpy, there's no Dimwit, there's no Randy Rampage, there's no Brad Kent, there's no Ken Jensen, there's no Simon Wild, and there's no Dave Gray. So I think there's like 7 guys that were like more or less main guys in D.O.A. They're not with us anymore.
So something in your makeup, in you,
I guess so. That made us sterner stuff. I don't know. Like, the big thing was I was not a drug doer, and that really helps your longevity, right? Yeah, I think that's a big thing, because some of my friends are not with us anymore. They didn't die from drugs, but they died from their bodies getting worn out from like just a little too much partying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your organs are not made to take a lot of that stuff, right? So not all of them. Wimpy was one of my best friends. I grew up with him on Burnaby Mountain. We'd known each other since we were 6 and 7 years old. He was just in poor shape, and he was like me, not a drug doer, but he ended up having a massive heart attack, and that was it, right? But so he wasn't taking care of himself. He was about 58.
I tried to introduce you properly before I even had this Zoom call. The founder of D.O.A, the founder of Sudden Death Records, Burnaby City Councillor. After 6 tries?
Yeah, I ran. That was my second try civically. I ran once in '97, and I think I finished about 23rd out of 25 possible candidates. So let's just say the people of Burnaby weren't buying what I was selling, right? But I ran in 3 provincial elections and 1 provincial by-election, and they're much harder because, like, we think about like a provincial or federal election, most people are voting for the leader, right? Or the party brand. Civically, there's a lot more connection with your community. And I grew up on Burnaby Mountain, went to Burnaby North High School. So when like over a period of a couple of elections in Burnaby, I probably knocked on like 12 or 13,000 doors. And it's a cold call. You're knocking, hi, I'm Joe Keithley, I'm running for the Green Party. And you try to get out your first 20 seconds before they slam the door and hand them a flyer.
How many of those people do you figure say you knock how many doors? 13,000?
Yeah, 13. Yeah.
How many of them you think knew who they were talking to right off the top?
Probably like a third.
Okay. All right. Well, that helps.
Yeah, no, the band really helped, because I think one of the things here, Terry, is that people know D.O.A. And they knew that we were like out, the band and I were activists and, stood up for good causes and, for people's rights and etc. And they understood that. So it didn't mean they were fans, but at that level of respect. So like, say, if I had done this like 20 years ago, which I did, that the band thing didn't help.
Yeah.
Right. But as I got older, the band thing helped. The band awareness helped tremendously.
And your longevity, and you know how to sell it too. You also you knew you know, it was at least one step closer to being a friend with these people, as opposed to somebody who could have been a Fuller Brush man at the door.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, I learned an awful lot after a short period of door knocking, because most politicians go there with their preconceived ideas, and they want to say, I know what's good for you.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other hand, you should be listening to people and find out what they actually want. And I learned that pretty quickly. I found wow, okay, I hadn't thought about that particular point of view, or I wasn't aware of that. And if I didn't know something, I'd say, look, I don't know that, but I'm going to do some research and I'll get back to you.
So in terms of music, you had, no, in terms of politics, you had to learn how to take rejection.
Yeah.
But hadn't you already been down that same road with music? Didn't you have a lot of people slam doors on you?
Oh, I mean, well said. Because I remember we were about 98 or something like that. We were in LA, and we went to Geffen Records, and we had no invite and David Geffen Records was the big shot at the time. There,
of course,
really up and coming. And we tried to bluff our way past the secretary was controlling all the offices. Oh yeah, no, we do have an appointment with Mr. Geffen, and they didn't pick us up by the collar, but we got thrown out of the building, right? So we said, oh yeah, no, we've been to Geffen Records. Oh yeah, we know David, right? Yeah, the road of rejection. That's why the music and politics kind of, for me, work together, because lots of people went Joe, you're trying real hard, but we don't like this record. It stinks.
Speaking of records, Joe, D.O.A.
Yeah.
Hardcore 81 is having its 40th anniversary. What was hardcore panned or accepted when it came out?
It got, people really liked it. It wasn't a big massive seller or anything like that.
Yeah,
but became a real cult classic, put it that way, right?
You took it on the road a lot.
Well, see, that expression, some people, I have friends in California that say that I came up with the expression, and I had forgotten about it. They point out these articles from '79.
Yeah.
And then about 1980, we were traveling down to California as usual, which is our home away from home. We were down there 5-6 times a year. And we started seeing some articles about, there's this new type of punk rock out that was, different than New York style, Ramones style, and different than Sex Pistols, Clash style in London. And they went this new type of punk rock is hardcore. And the bands are preeminent at, or D.O.A, Black Flag, stuff like that,
Yeah.
And so we got back to Vancouver, we're working on our second album, and then our manager went I got an idea for the album name, because we didn't have an album title. He said, how about Hardcore 81? So then we ended up putting on the festival to launch the record, and that became kind of the first hardcore festival in the world. So, and it's, I gotta say, it's it's not massive or anything like that, like hip hop or electronica.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty widespread form of music all over the world, everywhere. Sure. We played it down in Indonesia. People knew the songs, right? So.
That's nice. That's nice. That's a long way from home.
Long way from home, yeah. And it worked in Bangkok. It worked in Taiwan, right? Worked in China.
You still play it on the road, those tunes?
Yeah, well, this year when we have been playing shows, and did a dozen on the west coast of the States, and we have a dozen coming up in Ontario and Quebec this week. We'll play pretty well the whole album from start to finish, which is pretty quick, because the whole album was only 20 minutes long to start with. I'm talking side A was 11 minutes, side B was 7.
Anybody who gives a damn about music and people, myself included, we are always fascinated by the juxtaposition between you, hardcore, D.O.A, punk rock, that life, and then a city council meeting, which could be as boring as paint drying.
Yeah.
How you find yourself in that mix and I'm just guessing here, but it's because you want to make things better. you want to, if you're ever going to change your world around you, you're going to have to be sitting in that chair changing it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, years ago, some magazine in England said, DOA, you know what these guys are? They're cultural politicians, right? And me and Dave, my old guitar player, we went, yeah, that's what we are. We thought that was a pretty good handle, right? So, and like I say, it just took me a number of tries to actually get through from being the cultural politician to an elected official, right? And you're right, though, that the thing is that most change really starts locally. Most of the headlines you hear about are about the provincial government or our federal government or Washington, D.C., Moscow, whatever, Beijing, you know, and they're influencing the world. But, you know, when you think about your life, you know what we do in the city? We get you water. We run the sewer. We pick up your garbage. We take care of your parks. Like, we do all the stuff that you notice every day, except people that don't regard the city very highly, you see.
Of course, they take those things for granted, and the people, yes, of course. For example, Rock Against Racism, you did June the 4th. You played where? Where'd you play?
At the Rickshaw Theater.
Okay, fine. Raising dough, was it $6,000 or something?
Yeah, 6,200 it raised. Yeah, it's good.
Very nice. At the same time, probably on the same day or the same week, you're at Burnaby City Council working things. Okay. It's here. You and I have we've known each other a long time, but we have a reversal role. I got out of Kamloops and became a Mountie, and I was a Mountie for 4 years, right? And then along came the British invasion, and I just got sucked into that radio station, and that and it spit me out 9 months later as a disc jockey, and then my life was changed forever. But I never forgot the training that the Mounties gave me about work ethic and value and right from wrong and all that stuff. The same thing with you. It makes perfect sense that you went through that whole DOA punk rock era. You come out the other side, you learn from that, but then you can find the same value in doing what you're doing for council and changing people's lives, making it better.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I get that work ethic from my mother and father.
Sure, you did. You were born with,
Yeah, so it's like, there was like nonstop. So, you know, so now, you know, with, Terry, I really, with city council, I try to take the same attitude, not exact same, but fairly close to what I do with DOA, that, you know, if you got to stand up for the average person and try and do things to help them. And that was always the DOA way. You know, we did countless benefits for like against weapons of mass destruction, nuclear war, environmental degradation, war, racism, sexism, etc., etc. And I think that this is the perfect. Like DOA was a great soapbox for me, and still is. Now I just have a different type of soapbox. So I have like a suit and tie.
So Joe, how far do you want to take it? What if someone says they want you to run for mayor or, God forbid, provincial politics and premier? What do you want? How far do you want to go?
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty happy being a councillor right now. We have our election coming up October 15th, running for re-election this year, and you know, who knows? I've always thought I'd make a pretty good premier.
Yeah. Yes. And I know the first thing you do is you look out on that lawn out in front of the Parliament building and think the stage is going to go right there.
Yeah, I met a guy in Taiwan. I can't remember his name offhand, and he was in their legislature, and he showed me with his tour. We went to the monument to Chiang Kai-shek, this huge, massive monument in the center of Taipei, and he said, "Joe, what I did to get elected, I got some permits, and I had and he played in a hardcore metal band.
Wow.
And he had a show with 20,000 people outside where Chiang Kai-shek is buried, and all his limos in the big museum. And he says, it was easy. I got elected easily after that.
Well, be careful what you wish for, you know.
Oh, yeah. You know, City of Burnaby is really great. It's where I grew up. I grew up on the mountain by the tank farm. which I'm not very happy about that, but that's another story. And I'm still playing music. You know, we've got all sorts of things going on. We got a documentary coming out in
No kidding.
2020 about myself. I don't know if you're going to mention it, but I guess there we are.
Something, no, it's called Something That Will Change.
Something better change.
That's Scott Crawford, right?
Yep. And he did a film called Salad Days, and he did another one called Boy Howdy about Creem
Yeah.
magazine.
Of course,
With-
of course.
With the crazy, who's the writer? Who's
The writer, yeah, the writer, yeah, that guy.
yeah, the
Um,
most disturbing.
We'll both
critic
we'll both remember who that was when we hang up.
Yeah.
So what will the story be? Which part of your life?
Yeah, it kind of starting out with the activism and with the band, and then it's the transition into politics and getting elected. So him and Paul Rackman, who directed a bunch of stuff, including American Hardcore, he's the producer. They'll be up here in September while the campaign trail is hot, right? So they're a good halfway through the film. Like I've been up in DC, you know, talking to them when I was playing a show up there, and they've got tons of footage, and we're working on that. So I think that's mid 2023 that'll be out, and theoretically at TIP in Toronto in the
Oh
fall.
man, oh come on. Then you
That'd
can
be
run
great.
then you can run for premier. Then you can, right? So it comes down to this question, Joe. So you've got we'll do the tour dates in just a second, and we'll talk about we'll just recap once again because I want people to know everything you're involved in. But I wrote this question down. It was out of order. It should have been at the bottom. What has music given you from your teenage years when you were like a 10-year, 11-year-old drummer to now? What has it given you, music?
Boy, lots of fun, lots of experience, you know, dealing with people, dealing with authority. What I think has kind of steeled me for my career in politics. Given my wife, Laura, who I've been married to for 35 years. So I met her. And just everything. And I don't have it here. I hold up and show it, but I've got an old Gibson SG 1972 that I've had the whole time that I wrote every song on. And the guitar actually got stolen 3 times too, but I've gotten it back. One time it got stolen in Spain. Anyways, Bob Rock called the guitar the Northern Avenger. He said he gave it a nickname, right? So, and but music's given me an awful lot. But I mean, the thing is, it was like an opportunity, and I was willing to work hard at it and stay at it. You know, like you said, like it must have been back in the 80s or early 90s that you and I did all those interviews on Much Music, and you helped me a lot because you did go like, you know, some people go like, they realize that D.O.A is, you know, like this crazy punk rock band.
Exactly.
But you know, there's a lot of value to it.
There's something deeper than just the noise.
Yeah.
For example, you formed Harmony for All, getting used instruments back into schools, is it?
Yeah, a little bit different than that. It will go into schools. It's gotten, I mean, I started about 2.5 years ago, believe it or not. People were incredibly generous. We had 2 instrument drives and we received over 500 instruments, right? You're talking from electronic pianos to accordions, trumpets.
Lots of guitars and lots of guitars.
200 guitars. I've never seen so many guitars. Maybe except that Lon McQuaid, right? And but I actually got into the budget with Burnaby, with the city of Burnaby this last fall.
Yeah.
So we have the money. So we're running it through our arts program where kids will get free music lessons and a loaner instrument, right? And that starts with the kickoff is August 27th. The mayor and I will be there. He's a musician as well. That's how he got over here to Canada from Ireland.
That's how.
At Mayor Mike Hurley. And then once it gets, people put in applications, and then we'll get into the school system as well. That was a bit more difficult to get going. We thought we would, but obviously our school system, like every other one, was dealing with the COVID and the restrictions and all that kind of, yeah.
Okay, I'll let you go because you're busy, Councillor. Which has more power to change society around you, politics or music?
Both, but I don't think that people. See, okay, here it is, right? Okay, so every entertainer, musician, performer wants to entertain people. That's why we got up on the stage in the first place. Learn to play, learn to sing, learn to write, and you entertain people. But probably about 10 to 15% of us also want to change the world too. And there's an awful lot of power in music that you can. And I think I'm like, okay, here's my idol. You'll never guess who my idol is, but it's Pete Seeger.
Wow.
So Beatles, right? So because he like was super popular, then got blacklisted during the McCarthy era.
Yep.
He saved American folk music. He made instructional videos how people help play folk music, how to play banjo, and he was playing guitar or banjo on picket lines or helping people till he was like 93. You know, so to me, that's if I could do 10% of what Pete Seeger did, I'm doing pretty well.
Well, let's see if Pete Seeger played Ontario and Quebec. You're doing dates the summer. Are these June dates? June.
Yeah, June 15th to 27, Ontario and Quebec.
Okay, and then you're back in BC.
Yeah.
Fraser River. You doing anything on a barge?
Yeah, it's called Gilligan's Island. It's an estuary, and I get rivers are owned by the federal government, right?
Yep.
So it's kind of like a guy saw D.O.A. in 1984 and started backyard barbecues. And I guess they got too loud and big. So they built a stage on the estuary in the Fraser River. So we're playing there for Canada Day. And you have to take a barge. We're going to barge our gear over to the island, set up and play and theoretically get back. Right.
Like a 60s folk festival.
Yeah.
Okay. So that Fraser River on barge, then Princeton, then Rosslyn, then Cranbrook, and then Oliver. Nice, nice tight little package there.
Yeah. And that'll be it. And then August 1st, it'll be 60, 75 days of campaigning every single day, about 10, 12 hours a day.
You still knock on doors?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I absolutely. I think because people go like, wow, I have never had a politician knock on my door. And it's that one-to-one voter contact that is really the key, because you show people that you care and you're going to listen to them. I mean, assuming that you listen to them, which I do. Yeah.
Okay. Have your marketing people come up with the title for the posters? What it says underneath your name?
No, we're working on that.
Something strong, Get real.
Yeah, we don't have the slogan yet, but we're actually working on all press releases and rock cards and campaign design this weekend.
Just to review, Joe Keithley, D.O.A., Rock Against Racism, Burnaby City Councillor, founder of D.O.A., founder of Sudden Death Records. The D.O.A. album Hardcore 81 is celebrating its 40th anniversary. Tour out there. You're going to have to head for the interior to check out D.O.A. Any Vancouver show, any West Coast shows?
No, nothing until next year. Right. So.
Okay, he's being difficult. And what's the name of the documentary again?
Something Better Change, which is also the name of D.O.A.'s first album.
Exactly. So, there's so much. Never mind. It's good.
All right.
It's all good. Everybody's paying attention. It's about damn time. And I'm pleased to be doing my 45th interview with you.
Wow. Okay. That's a lot.
It's not 45, but there's enough. There's enough of that.
It's like, yeah, it's in there's quite a number, right? So it's going like 45 that many times. Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. And good luck
Right,
in the election and take care and have a great gig.
Okay. Thank you. And good to see you.
How do people follow you? What's the best way? Do you want to email? What?
Oh, yeah. They can find out anything if they go to suddendeath.com.
Yep.
Or they can Instagram. It's Joe.Keithley.
Okay.
So then you'll pick up on the Twitter as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe.
All right. Okay. See you, Terry.
Take care of yourself, man.
Yeah, you too. Have a great summer. Talk soon.
Is it now? I'm going to.